Welcome back, my creepies. It's me, Miss Helena Housewife, doing another episode of Interactive Horror Stories, which is free on Steam. Last time we did The Doll, so I guess we'll do the next one and do After Funeral. See if this one's gonna be better than the last one. Okay. I like the background image on this. So, After Funeral is a modern gothic horror story that takes place 3 days after your son's burial. You receive messages in your computer, those claim to be sent by your son's soul. He says that he wants to be with you once again and asks you to do a few things in order to be resurrected. Will you believe in the messages? Okay. Okay. You used to be a father. I don't think I've ever been a father. It has been 3 days since your son Jonathan White was buried in the graveyard of the local church. I'm Gru. Buried in the graveyard of the local church. He was 8 years old. He had golden hair and blue eyes, just like you were like the beloved man in the Carpenter song Close to You. Since your wife passed away giving birth to Jonathan, and since he has been your everything, he was your angel, now he was gone. Dang it. He died on a snowy winter morning. You had gone to market, leaving him alone at home. When you arrived at home, you found Jonathan lying on the bed motionless. His face was covered with his pillow, choked. Police couldn't find any trace of trespassing. You clearly remember the solemn moments of Jonathan's funeral. In fact, you try to forget, but the details are in front of your eyes and they won't go away. The priest had intoned psalms and prayers, those you are not so familiar with. You are not so religious. When the lifeless body of your son laid in the church, his feet were turned to the east. He was wearing black suits and shiny shoes. His skin was pale. He was way too young for all of this. You wish it was you lying there instead of him. Like the day Jonathan died, it's a snowy day in all of Ohio. Of course it's in Ohio. Ohio is literally, I am convinced that the entrance to hell is in Ohio. That's why they have so many astronauts. Everybody just wants to get the fuck out. So there are 3 inches of snow outside. It is 1400 right now. You are a writer who has been on writer's block since that day. Your favorite word processor is open in the computer. Do people have a favorite word processor? The screen is blank. You haven't written anything for a long time. There are cigarette butts and ashtray and your black hot coffee in a blue cup on your work table. You chain smoke and consume a lot of coffee nowadays. How else do you think I maintain this figure? As you're sipping your coffee, doorbell rings. Let's just open the door. I'm feeling particularly caffeinated and ready to handle the world. You open the door. It's Bob, your neighbor and friend. You had drunk beers and had barbecue with him for several times. Bob is a nice guy. He is overweight, has short black hair, and has no facial hair. He wears a dark blue jacket and a black beanie. Hey, how are you? I wanted to ask how you've been. Am I caffeinated enough to tell the truth, or am I caffeinated enough to lie? Let's just be honest. I'm depressed. Bob replies, I can imagine how hard it is. I never had kids, but I had a cat when I was younger. I loved her as my daughter. Then I had to bury her to the garden myself. It was tough. I know how much you love Jonathan. I am shocked like you to see him gone. Bob continues, I'm going to the market right now. Do you need anything? you remember that you were out of cigarettes. I mean, if he's gonna bust in my door and bother me, I'm gonna ask for some cigarettes. Ah, you need cigarettes. He puts his hand in his pockets and pulls out a pack of cigarettes. Maybe I'm a bad friend for doing this, but anyway, take this. I'll buy myself another pack in the market. You take the pack that has 10 cigarettes inside and thank him. Okay, man, see you later. You say goodbye to Bob, too. Then he goes. You close the door and sit back on your work table. I'm gonna sit on my work table. You look at the computer screen that should have been blank, but no, it is not blank. Something is written. Daddy, I missed you. So we can shout Jonathan, we can type Jonathan, or we just turn off the computer. Let's yell. I feel like I would yell. After you shout your deceased son's name, new letters appear in form of reply. Yes, it is me. You are not a computer engineer, but you know that it is possible to hack someone's computer and put a prank on him if the computer is online. Your computer is connected to the internet with an Ethernet cable. So you can pull the cable, ask how is it possible, or turn off the computer. Just going to ask how it's possible. Good Lord said I should be together with you. He said that I love you and you love me, so he sent me back. Good Lord. So are we talking like the biblical Lord? Are we talking like the dark Lord? Are we talking about some other Lord? He's not being very specific right now, and that bothers me. I'll just be like, oh. I'm so afraid, Daddy. It is cold and dark. I am so cold here. Please bring me back. Do you want to see me once again? So the good Lord says that you should be together, but he's got you someplace that's cold and dark. I mean, for shits and giggles, let's just be like, yeah, I totally do want to see you. Find 5 candles and wait for the midnight. Bye for now, Daddy. You have got only 1 candle at home. You normally use the candle when the electricity is gone, so you didn't need more than 1 candle before. What will you do? Buy them from the market. Or ask Bob for candles. I mean, Bobby loves his cat like a daughter. I don't expect him to have lots of candles at home, so I guess I'll just go to the market. Probably run into Bob. So you wear your long beige coat and black leather boots and walk to the market to buy 4 candles. Then you return home. At home, you wait in front of your monitor. Nothing happens till midnight. Then a new message appears on the screen. I am back, Daddy. Did you bring the candles? Yeah, sure. Good. Let me explain how you can bring me back. Go to the cemetery, dig my grave, bring my coffin home. Okay. Which is like literally the first response. What? Oh wow. Turn off the computer. You doing like some pet cemetery? I'm just gonna be like, what? Oh wow. Even though I literally had the first. Good Lord wants us to be together. Don't you want to bring me back to life? I can either be like, you are not Jonathan, or I can turn off the computer. Let's just turn it off. You turn off the computer, you take a high dose of sleeping pills because you will need it. You go to sleep. You are having... I'm so gross. You are having a vivid dream. You see Jonathan in a garden. What is it with us in gardens? He's in the garden with green grass and colorful flowers. He runs around with happiness and angels. There are white-dressed angels around him. Everyone is smiling. You are not part of this dream. Jonathan doesn't see you, but you're still content with seeing him happy in this Eden. He was always a benevolent boy after all. He deserved to go to heaven. You wake up to the sound of the door ring bell, and you take a look at the clock. It's 10 a.m. You wear your slippers and open the door. It's Bob. Hello, I need to show you something. He holds a newspaper in his hand. There is anxiety on his face. You take the newspaper. It's Ohio's local newspaper. All of Ohio. One local newspaper. Another kid choked to death. Officers are investigating the curious case of repeated deaths of kids in the state. Yesterday night, a 6-year-old boy, Kevin Madsen, was found dead in his bed by his parents. His face was covered with his pillow. What makes this interesting for officers is this is the 7th time a boy died this way this month in Ohio. Recently, 8 years old Jonathan White also died with a pillow on his face. Sheriff Walcott states that he finds the recent events quite interesting. That's all it is. Just interesting. The end. 2 possible endings. So, I guess let's go and try to, resurrect my son. Let's try this again. I'm gonna say I'm fine. Bob believes in your light. It's good that you're doing better, fam. Everyone knows losing a kid is a hard process, but I'm sure you'll get over it. You are a strong man. Bob continues, I'm going to the market. Do you need anything? I'm not going to bother him this time. Okay, man. See you later. You say goodbye to Bob, too, and he goes. Daddy, I missed you. I'm going to type this time. Yeah, type Jonathan at the computer. The new letters get appended at the text in the screen. Whoever types it, he, she, it writes fast. When they are finished, they form 2 sentences. I can hear you, Daddy. Talk to me. So I guess we're back to shouting. So I'm going to pull the Ethernet cable. You crouched down and frantically pulled the Ethernet cable from your computer. You expect that nothing else will be written, but no, you are wrong. I am in the computer. How is it possible? So the good Lord says that they need to be together. Say, oh. And yeah, let's see you again. Sure, I have plenty of them. What do you need them, may I ask? Let's say I got messages from Jonathan. You explained Bob everything that happened today, including the owner of the messages asking for 5 candles. Bob looks quite surprised. I think someone is pulling a prank on you. I don't really believe in ghosts or something like that, but if I were you, I would not do what he wants you to. Are you sure you still want the candles? Yeah, I want them. Very well. Let me bring the candles. Goes to the kitchen and returns with 4 candles in his hands. Here you go. You thank him and take the candles and go home. So it's back at midnight. Did you bring the candles? Sure did. Let's see how to bring him back. Go to the cemetery and bring my coffin home. Okay. We shall speak again once you bring my coffin. A child talks like this. You know it's insane what you do, but you get prepared to go outside. You wear your coat and get outside your home. It is snowing like hell, a cold interpretation of hell outside. I told you, Ohio is hell. The sky's a bright purple color, illuminating the night with the help of a full moon behind the clouds. You get in your car and start it. The streets and roads are empty. There is only you outside in this hour of night. It doesn't take long to arrive to the church and its graveyard. Graveyard is covered with snow and gray mist. No lights come from the church. Either there is nobody inside or the priest is sleeping. That's good. You can't be seen while digging your son's grave. You find the graves of your son and wife. Jonathan White was buried next to his mother. There is an unoccupied area next to them. You will be buried there when your time comes. You search for a shovel. You find it in about 10 minutes. You are ready to dig the grave. And my only option is to dig the grave. Is to dig that sucker. You start digging Jonathan's grave. After 6 feet of digging, you reach the little wooden coffin. You climb down, then carry the coffin up. After that, you can climb up and carry the dirty coffin to your car's back seat. You had never done something this bizarre before. I should hope not. After you reach your home, you get off your car and carry the coffin home. Luckily, there's nobody around. I feel like Bob is going to be looking out the dang window right now. You drag the coffin to your living room sitter. You don't care about the floor getting dirty with soil. Thank you, Daddy, gets written on the screen. I'm like so scared I'm going to get jump scared like the last video. Now put the candles around my coffin like a star. So I can say okay, or I can say this is too much. I mean, I'm here for it. No, I hit the wrong thing. I'm gonna turn off the computer. Turn off the computer, no further messages appear. There's no reason to keep a coffin in your house. It's fucking crazy, isn't it? So you take it back to the graveyard and bury it. You're so tired you don't need sleeping pills. So, put the candles around my coffin like a star. Okie dokie. You carefully place the candles around the coffin, making it the center of a star. You light them with your lighter. Now read these aloud, Daddy. A lonely goat on a mountain. He is thirsty. Thirsty for humanly love and affection. I shall give him the water. So we're talking about stars and goats. I don't think this is the good Lord that this dad thinks it is. Let's just read it aloud. So you read the lines. A lonely goat on a mountain. He is thirsty. Thirsty for humanly love and affection. I shall give him the water. And the coffin starts to shake. The coffin's lid gets opened slowly. You see Jonathan opening the lid and raising up. His skin is pale, almost white. You can smell the rot from his undead corpse. He is wearing the black suit you couldn't forget. He stands on his feet and smiles at you. Then he steps outside the coffin, away from you, without saying anything. And he does something you wouldn't expect from dead. He dances. He dances with joy. After a half minute, he stops dancing, stares at you. His eyes are still blue. Take me in your arms, Daddy. Take me to the bathroom. I want to show you something. It's impossible not to obey what he says. You feel his presence dominating the room, overwhelming you, and it's impossible to say no. You crouch down and take him in your arms. You carry him to the bathroom. You bring him to the dark bathroom. You turn on the light and get horrified by what you see in the mirror. The boy's reflection is different. His skin is burnt like coal. Jonathan had an innocent and handsome face, but the face you see is so far from being pleasant. It is like a really old man's face, who is also very ugly. He also has no hair. Always wanted a daddy like you, says the eldritch abomination you hold in your arms. The end. Okay. We got both endings. It was creepy, but definitely did not jump scare me like that stupid thunder did during the doll. I guess next video we will tackle Crystal Skull. As always, like and subscribe. Check out my Instagram for pinup and movie reviews. You can become a patron on Patreon to get exclusive reviews and cooking videos. And I send out little like care packages every so often. So definitely check that out if you're interested. Again, wearing my Helena Housewife shirt that I got from Base Peculiars. I will link her shop again in the caption. And I will see you next time, my creepies. Bye.